Hello everyone and welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host Ross13 and today we are looking at the HG Kobu-Kai from Sakura Wars. Specifically Sakura Wars 2, I'm guessing. I'm not an expert in the Sakura Wars series, but I've always loved their mechanical designs and I really liked the OVAs and the TV series that ADV put out ages ago. So when I heard that Bandai was doing some Sakura Wars kits, I knew I needed to get a hold of at least one of them. And this is it. So here we are. Before we look at the figure, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the box. So we got very cool sort of CGI illustration of the Kobu-Kai, specifically Sakura's Kobu-Kai. So it's in pink. Got her sword. We got two of the other ones behind them. I don't know the character names, otherwise I would tell you who they are. I do know that these were available, and this thing with the two swords, that's something that'll come into play a little bit later. But they are pretty much the same machine, just with differences in weapons. Got the Sakura Wars 2 logo, picture of Sakura there, and all the usual text plus HG. On this side, we have same illustration as before, the standard blue fin sticker. Oh, we even have the scale. This is HG 120, so this is a 1/20th scale kit. Then we have pictures of the kit, all nice and painted looking up. Mine doesn't look like this, but I did do some painting on this, so stay tuned for that. And we even see that it has a very nice detailed pilot figure, but you do have to paint it to look like that. So be aware. This side, same as the other, just no Bandai blue fin sticker. Then over here we have some write-ups about the character and the mecha. You can pause to read that if you want to. And then we see the other ones that are in the lineup. Then over here, usual warning information. And hey, look! They can center the numbers there and make me not sad. Alright, that's enough of the box. Let's take a look at the actual figure now. And here it is on my fancy new turntable, so we can get a nice look around of it while I'm talking. So, as you can see, the kit is mostly in pink plastic with a slight pearlescent sheen to it, but also I have done a lot of painting on it. And that's because if you really want to get the most out of this kit, you're gonna have to paint. There's a lot of details that just aren't included. The red inside little funnel things there, those aren't there. There's little silver bits here, those weren't there. I also wanted to do a lot of weathering on this one. As soon as I saw pictures of these kits, I knew I wanted to weather them because these things are steam powered as well as being magic powered. And that just put into my head the idea that these things are going to be kind of grimy, kind of sooty. Plus, I like the idea that maybe this is it still out in the middle of battle, so it's been banged up, it's dirty, it hasn't been cleaned yet. And I really, really like how this came out. It is so cool. I even did a little bit of chipping here and there. You know what? Let's go hand and take a closer look at things. So you can see some of the silver details I have in there, as well as the chipping and weathering I did over the figure. I also tried to add silver to the edge of the blade, and it came on kind of messy, but the end result actually looked like the sort of curviness that you see at the edge of some katanas, so it actually worked out for me in the end. The red that's inside the sword as well is extra paint, and yeah, there's a lot of little details that aren't there with the plastic colors, which is a shame, but I went into this knowing I wanted to paint it and spent a lot of time on it, so it is what it is. Articulation wise is kind of interesting because the shape of this thing doesn't lend itself to sort of standard human articulation. There's no head or anything like that. You can move the eyes a little bit around. I did a top coat on this, so mine are feeling a little restricted. But you got jointing at the shoulder, a ball joint with some bicep rotation, elbows that hinge, single jointed, and you got a ball jointed hand, but they're kind of weird. I have the holding hand installed on this one, and probably will never switch it out. In fact, here, let's take a quick look at those. It should be noted that the silver details on the knuckles there are painted. So yeah, you got open hand, holding hand. You got one for each side, so however you want to set it up. The only problem is they don't give you extras of these little knuckle cover things, so it makes switching out to be a big pain. These little flaps up here can open up. I even made sure to put a little bit of weathering detail in there. You have a little bit of shimmy movement in the hips. Can kick up a little bit, but yeah, the front skirt armor is going to hinder things. In fact, I'll be right back. Knees can bend pretty decently, and you got a little bit of foot articulation. Despite the restrictions, though, you can still get a little bit of posing out of this figure. At least enough for what it looks like in the show and original video game. So, I still think it looks pretty darn good. There is one other major point of articulation, and that's this. The cockpit can open up, revealing the pilot figure inside. And yes, I did actually do a full paint job on the pilot figure. She's kind of hard to see because of the way everything opens up and the lighting, but I did a full paint job on her. I even actually did a paint job inside the cockpit because it was just one color. I may put pictures up here that show some of the progress I did on that. I'm actually quite proud of myself with the amount of detail and time I spent on this figure. Because, let me tell you, I sunk a lot of time in this. But again, I went into this kit knowing I wanted to spend time on it. But yeah, if you get this out of the box, the figure is just all peach colored. There's no detail whatsoever. So if that's something that you don't want to do, this may not be a kit for you. There's a lot of detail here that really begs to be brought out, and if you don't want to sink a lot of time painting into this, it's probably not a good match for you. But for me, I just absolutely love the design, and I wanted a project like this. So it's a high recommendation for me in that respect. But that's all I really have to say about it. Oh, let's do some quick comparisons. Here it is next to a standard HG. This is the Age 1 normal. Here it is next to a newer SD Gundam. Here's a cross silhouette with a full booster frame thing. So somewhat comparable in size, but still this thing is very chunky. And here it is next to one of the Zoids I've shown you guys. You can sort of see similar painting techniques. And, oh, one final thing. You do have parts for another sword. You got a blade and the pommel or hilt or whatever you want to call it. But you don't have the crossguard, which allows you to combine them all together. And that bugs me because you look on the runner and you can see where the part would have been, and it's cut out. It's deliberately omitted. And that's weird. Like, yes, she doesn't have two swords, but you could have left that in, especially if you left in these other parts. But yeah, like I said, I dig this figure, I give it a recommendation, but you got to understand, if you're going to build this thing, you're going to want to paint it to really make it shine to be the very absolute best. Maybe I'll be revisiting the Sakura Wars line again. I have a couple of kits on there that I want to pick up, but they're a little bit more expensive than your standard Gunpla, so we'll just have to see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Check the description below for links to my storefront where you can get official shelf space t-shirts and more. And yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.